Hi, welcome to MBA Now. I am Rob Van Raphorst. Congress has just passed a big tax bill, and here to talk about it with us is our chief lobbyist, Bill Killmer. Bill, thanks for joining us.
You bet, Rob.
Bill, let's talk about how this affects our commercial members specifically and what provisions in the bill they're going to need to be aware of.
Well, sure. It's been an interesting process tracking the whole tax reform debate, Rob. MBA was fortunate that we had a task force that was board approved by the full MBA board of directors. So we had representation for both our commercial multifamily sector and our residential members. And they were very clear about prioritizing which issues were important to them and to their business models, and for keeping the real estate finance marketplace robust and vibrant. And we are mortgage bankers or represent them, and so debt is important, and debt has been important in terms of deal making. So two of the big priorities were maintaining business interest deductibility for real estate finance, and also the utilization of Section 1031 like-kind exchanges. And those were both captured as part of the larger debate. Real estate as part of like-kind exchanges is about half of the revenue that's foregone for use of that provision out of the total universe for that section of the tax code. And business interest deductibility for real estate was caught up in the larger construct of that issue writ large. And that was one of the major pay-fors, business interest deductibility, for a huge portion of this legislation. So we were pleased that there was a carve-out that maintains current law utilization for interest deductibility for real estate. And the same thing was true for 1031 like-kind exchanges for real property. That's a means of maintaining, investment flow, in the exchange of property to make deals work, and an important tool. And so we feel, very good about the fact that we were able to maintain the status quo for real estate in that regard.
Yeah, now I know affordable housing was a big issue in this whole debate. What provisions affect affordable rental housing?
Sure. Section 42 of the code in 1986 established the low-income housing tax credit, and that has been the primary means of producing new affordable housing since that time. And there's a vibrant marketplace surrounding that, syndicators, investors, and certainly our members that are involved in deals that involve the low-income housing tax credit in the finance chain. So we were, again, very heartened that we were able to argue in a broad coalition for maintaining the low-income housing tax credit, but also some of the other tools that help for the production of affordable housing, like the tax-exempt status of private activity bonds, which is utilized in combination with 4% tax credits for a lot of rental housing production. The House had elected to withdraw tax-exempt status from PABs. The Senate kept the tax-exempt status intact, and the conference committee in the bill that was produced and voted on kept PABs as tax-exempt going forward. So big wins for affordable housing. I will say one caveat is that the low-income housing tax credit marketplace has already been affected, and the value of those credits has gone down just on the notion that there was going to be a lower corporate rate impacting their value. So there's still more work to do on that, to pursue with the Congress to expand the program and do things to enhance the value of the credits so that the marketplace will operate close to status quo, but it's a big win to keep the program intact.
Speaking of big wins, mortgage servicing rights was a big issue in this bill. I mean, can you walk us through what happened with that?
Sure. Tax accounting provision in the Senate Finance Committee's construct of the bill would have altered deferred tax treatment for certain kinds of income. And what we discovered after that bill was passed out of the committee, that's when, under the Senate rules and practice, they actually prepared the text as opposed to when they're marking up the bill in committee. And when we saw the text, it was clear that there was an unintentional sweeping in that would alter the tax-deferred status of mortgage servicing rights, both multifamily and commercial and residential. And so we leapt into action and worked with some of our allies on the Hill. We're able to get an amendment that would create an exception for mortgage servicing contracts. Got that into the final manager's amendment that passed the Senate when the Senate passed its initial reform proposal, and then we were able to keep that intact in the final conference report that's been voted on now, and that'll make its way to the president. So big kind of dead sprint over 10 days, right around the time of Thanksgiving, but we got a lot of help from folks at the grassroots level who weighed in with their legislators
Yeah.
to help us move the ball. on
Yeah,
that one.
I was just going to say our members really did benefit us and make sure we were kept at the pay.
Absolutely, and it really is a justification for our Mortgage Action Alliance and the fact that when we need folks, the louder the voice, you know, the better the outcome. And we were able to do that on a targeted basis with some people that really made a difference in that aspect of the debate.
Well, it was a Herculean effort by all. We really appreciate what you did, and thanks for coming by and talking about it with us.
You bet. Look forward to the next time.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at MBA Mortgage and like Mortgage Bankers Association on Facebook and Instagram.